If you're thinking about becoming a yoga therapist, you've probably asked yourself this question: is yoga therapy certification actually worth it? Because yoga therapy training is a serious investment. It takes time, it takes energy, and often it requires a meaningful financial commitment. So it's a completely reasonable question to ask.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brant, and we're the co-directors of the Breathing Deeply Yoga Therapy School, where we've been training yoga therapists since 2011. In this video, we want to give you an honest answer about when yoga therapy certification is worth pursuing and what it really prepares you to do.
This is one of the most common questions we hear. Is it worth it? People are often drawn to yoga therapy because they want to help people in a deeper way through yoga, but they're also trying to understand what yoga therapy training is, things like what will this particular training actually do to prepare me? Will it be a meaningful change in my work with clients or students? And will the investment really make sense? Those are all important questions to explore before beginning any professional training.
So let's start with something that might be a little surprising. Yoga therapy certification isn't necessarily the right path for everyone. If someone simply wants to teach yoga classes and occasionally modify poses for students, they may not need the depth of training that yoga therapy requires. Yoga therapy training is really designed for people who want to work with individuals experiencing specific and often complex health challenges. This requires a different level of knowledge, a different level of responsibility, and a different level of skill. So the real question isn't just whether certification is worth it. The real question is whether you want to develop the skill set required to work therapeutically with people.
And for many people, the answer to that question is yes. Yoga therapy allows practitioners to work with people experiencing things like chronic pain, anxiety, and depression, autoimmune conditions, the effects of trauma, resilience and burnout, sleep challenges, and other complex health solutions and situations. As we know, people come into our yoga classes with all kinds of things. So really, what is it that we want to offer? So working with people in these situations requires learning and how to apply yoga in a much more individualized and therapeutic way. And that is really where deeper training becomes invaluable.
Another important part of the conversation would be career outcomes. Yoga therapists take many different professional paths. Some develop private practices working one-on-one with clients. Others collaborate with healthcare professionals and integrative wellness clinics and settings. Some incorporate yoga therapy into professions like coaching or professional counseling or wellness consulting. And many yoga teachers become more effective at helping students who have health challenges. So the return on investment isn't always measured in a single career outcome. Often it's about developing a deeper level of professional capability. It's also important to say that yoga therapy isn't usually a get-rich-quick career path. However, it's very rewarding. Most yoga therapists build their work gradually over time. Often it begins with working with individual clients and gaining experience. And over time, many practitioners expand into things like specialized programs, running workshops, collaborations with all sorts of healthcare professionals, or integrating yoga therapy into their existing wellness work or into the work of Western medical situations. So the real value of the training often comes from the ability to help people in deeper ways while building a meaningful professional path for yourself.
In our experience, the value of yoga therapy training depends less on the title of the certification and more on how students are trained to work with real people. That's been our focus since the beginning. A strong program should help students develop a clear therapeutic framework, clinical reasoning skills, and confidence working with complex client situations. Without those elements, students may finish a training with a lot of information, a lot of money, but still feel very unsure about how to apply yoga therapy in practice.
So at our school, Breathing Deeply, we've structured our training around what we call the Breathing Deeply clinical method. Over time, this framework has become the foundation of how we train yoga therapists. And the method focuses on three core competencies.
So, our first competency is holistic pattern assessment. Students learn how to understand the deeper patterns contributing to a client's condition rather than focusing only on symptoms.
The second is skillful therapeutic design. Students learn how to create practices tailored specifically to the individual person that's in front of them that they're working with.
And the third is guided clinical practice. Students develop these skills while working with real practicum clients and receiving mentorship from experienced yoga therapists. So, most credible yoga therapy trainings include supervised practicum hours. You'll see that on their website, and it all sounds the same, but something prospective students don't always realize is that the quality of supervision really does matter enormously. What really shapes a student's development is who is guiding them through those client cases and coming out on the other side.
At our school, students work with lead teachers and experienced teaching assistants who have worked extensively with clients using the Breathing Deeply clinical method. So when students are working with practicum clients, they're not simply completing their hours. They're learning how to analyze patterns, refine processes, and develop their clinical reasoning step by step.
One of the most interesting things we observe in training is how students evolve as they begin. At the beginning, many students feel uncertain, unsteady. They know the practices, but they're still learning how to think therapeutically. They're gaining confidence. And as they work with more clients and receive mentorship, something begins to shift. And students start recognizing patterns more easily. They develop confidence designing practices. That confidence is developing. And then they see firsthand how yoga therapy can create meaningful change for the people that they're working with.
Yeah, and we see this in the practicum all the time. I supervise the advanced practicum, and a common sort of template of a client would be someone arriving with chronic pain, say, and a significant trauma history. And instead of simply applying a generic trauma-informed or hip pain yoga sequence, the Breathing Deeply student is trained to understand the deeper patterns and is able to design practices tailored specifically to that individual so that they can move towards their goals. And as they do that and they're being mentored, students really move through that process and really see their therapeutic work become effective for the people in front of them. Over the years, students in our programs have worked with thousands of practicum clients across many different traditions. Across these cases, we've observed about an 86% positive outcome rate, meaning the client experienced a meaningful improvement in the issue they were seeking help with. Importantly, these outcomes come from real-world client work conducted during supervised practicum using the Breathing Deeply clinical method. Of course, yoga therapy isn't a medical cure. Outcomes do vary, but these results suggest that when yoga therapy is applied through a structured clinical framework, it can make meaningful difference for so many people.
And that's all across so many different conditions.
Yeah.
Another helpful thing to know is that people don't always begin by committing to an advanced certification pathway. It's a big undertaking. And so many students start with our Foundations of Yoga Therapy training, where they learn through a comprehensive training, they learn core therapeutic skills and clinical thinking. From there, they may continue on with the advanced program and the different components of the advanced program.
So if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're already interested in developing deeper therapeutic skills through yoga. You might be a yoga teacher who wants to support students with health challenges, or a wellness professional looking for a stronger yoga therapeutic framework, or you might be thinking, I want to pursue yoga therapy as a professional path.
Wherever you are on that spectrum, the key question isn't simply whether certification is worth it. It's whether the training helps you develop real skill and confidence helping people. In our school, graduates have fulfilling jobs in all different kinds of settings, that they were able to obtain because of their skill and competence.
So, if you're exploring yoga therapy certification, the best next step is a free training we've created that explains how yoga therapy certification works, how students move through our foundations and clinical programs, and what it takes to develop real therapeutic skill. You can find the link right below this video.
So, this free walkthrough will give you a much clearer sense of whether this path feels right for you and whether it's worth it.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day.